so please excited for Les Mis. God, it was just amazing.
Very excited.
Who are you most excited to see? So, there's lots of leg room, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely loads.
Got space next to us. Got space next to you. It's very spacious. I don't feel unsafe. She's not listening to me.
Oh, sorry.
But I don't feel unsafe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Do you
you
feel
were talking
unsafe?
to your fans.
My friends, Mum. For my besties.
Right.
Hey bestie. Bestie vibes only. If I reach out, I'm quite a way off the seat in front. The black under my eyes are makeup marks from crying. Very emotional. Incredible. So we're at the kind of like mid-party thing, like during the interval. So we've got Cameron Macintosh over there schmoozing with all of the reporters. I hope that you're very, very well. So this week, for the first time in over a year, I went into a theatre and I saw a musical. I just have a lot of feelings. Yeah, I have a lot of feelings and thoughts, and I thought I would share them. So the West End has partially reopened. A handful of shows had reopened back in November, but were quickly closed again because of lockdown 3 in the UK. I didn't see the shows when they opened in November because, to be honest, I didn't feel quite comfortable. I wasn't ready yet. In the UK, cases were rising. I was stressed, all that. But the kind people at Les Mis contacted me and offered me tickets to go to the opening night, and how could I turn them down? I have been feeling a lot better about things. A lot more people are vaccinated now. So I went with my mum and we had a great time. But I wanted to really just talk about like the COVID security things in case people are nervous about going back to the theatre. As I say, my tickets were gifted, but they haven't asked me to make a video or comment on this stuff. I just think that I would have liked to have known this before I went, so hopefully this will help somebody if you're thinking of going back to the theatre but you're maybe not sure if you're ready yet. Hopefully I can maybe ease some of your worries or just let you know what to expect when you go. If you don't know me, by the way, my name's Amy, and if you like theatre then please subscribe. That would be very nice. Okay, so Les Mis. First things first, it was amazing. So it was the concert version of Les Mis, which is, I would say, kind of like a hybrid between the 10th and 25th anniversary concerts and the show. There was tiny bits of set and a little bit of staging, so it wasn't just people just standing there and singing. The cast were incredible. My absolute favourite thing, to be honest, was in One Day More. I was watching some of the people who I'd noticed it was their first night in the show, and a couple West End debuts, and watching them sing One Day More. That was the thing that set me off crying. I was a mess. And it was just wonderful. It was a cast that majority I hadn't seen before. Some people were the best I've ever seen of their characters. It was just magnificent, honestly. You know, I think Les Mis is one of those things, a lot of people have seen it. I like that this is kind of a fresh new take. I mean, obviously everybody was so excited. It was the first time back in the theatre with a big audience. Honestly, I was so overwhelmed. So I asked on my Instagram if people had any questions about restrictions and safety measures and how I was feeling and stuff. So I'm just gonna run through those and answer some questions. Daisy asked, how did you feel going back to the theatre after many months? I was really excited for the days leading up to seeing the show. As I say, I haven't been in over a year. I've been very, very strict with COVID restrictions. I haven't broken it at all. I've kept to my bubble of being with Olivia's house. I hadn't seen my family since October. And so, you know, I was taking things very carefully and I did feel like I was ready. And then the day of, on Thursday morning, I was an absolute mess. I was like shaking and my breath was really tight. I felt really weird. I think I was just nervous because it was like, oh, I'm gonna see people, and I don't know, social interaction for me is like really hard now. And so I was really nervous about that and just the kind of the unknown. Like, I have travel anxiety, so I was panicking about like getting the train in and going on the tube and all that stuff. So I couldn't like settle myself. So anyway, we decided that we would drive into London. We were able to park at the National Theatre and then just walk over the bridge to the theatre. So it worked out perfectly, really. For me, like, traveling really adds to my stress. So if you're nervous, I would say try to make little changes that will relax you throughout the day. For me, driving, it gave me something to focus on rather than sitting on the train stressing and worrying. And I'm sitting here saying, and I'm sure that some people are gonna be like, oh, suck it up, like, you're being so dramatic, but whatever. You spend a year living on your own inside, you become a bit of a hermit, and you know, it's taken me some time and I'm okay to admit that. I felt nervous, but then as soon as I got to the theatre and I saw the safety precautions and stuff, I just completely relaxed and it felt very normal again. Lots of people asking, did you have to show a negative test or do a COVID test? You didn't. As you went in, everybody was told to keep your masks on. You had your ticket on your phone so that they could scan it, so it wasn't like passing tickets along and things. And then every group had to do the NHS track and trace, where you basically like check into a venue, so that if somebody who has checked in then turns out to have COVID, then everyone will be informed. And then they did a bag check. The bag check was like, they had like a stick and they like put the stick in the bag to see if there was anything dangerous in there. And then we went in, it was basically like there was no real queuing. We did the majority of queuing outside, and then once we were in, it was pretty straightforward. There were lots of hand gel sanitization stations all around, so that was good. And then once we went into the theatre, the usher told us where our seats were and we went ahead. They must have taken a couple of rows out of seats because the gap between the seat and the seat in front was pretty wide, to be honest. Like, I put my arm fully outstretched and I couldn't reach the chair in front. That felt good. It was me and my mum. There was nobody next to us on this side, nobody next to us on the other side. And on that seat there was like a little thing. And so, to be honest, I felt really safe. I didn't feel like anybody was kind of encroaching upon me, and we were relatively near the end of the aisle, so we didn't have loads of people coming in and like having to stand up and things. But when I went to move past my mum, I was able to walk in front of her into my seat without her having to get up and push back and things. And they also had these little signs that said like, please wear a mask, and the ushers were obviously all wearing masks. Now, the ushers were wearing these like transparent mesh masks, which, I'll be honest, it's great because if there are people who are hard of hearing or they lip read or something, it's great because you're able to see the person's full face and things. I'd seen all of the stuff about Lana Del Rey and her mask that she wore that was like a mesh thing. So I did some research myself and I found some masks that look basically the same, and I'm presuming it's the same kind of technology, where it's basically a transparent filtering fabric with water repellent and antibacterial treatment. It's a highly breathable anti-fogging sheer fabric, and it seems like that's the kind that the ushers were wearing. So I felt safe knowing that they were all wearing them, and there were a few people when we first went in who had drinks and snacks and things, and they were sitting in their seats and talking and eating and stuff. Once they'd finished, the ushers came by and asked them to put their masks on. And they did have signs, as I say, telling people to keep their masks on. And so they were pretty strict about that. I mean, obviously some people have disabilities and they're not able to wear masks, and they were also respectful of that. There was somebody in front of us who wasn't able to wear a mask, and once they'd said that, they weren't pressured again, which was good. Somebody said, how was it crying with a mask on? Because yes, I did cry and I did have a mask on. For me personally, once I was in there, I pretty much forgot that I even had a mask on. At the points where I was crying, you do want to like blow your nose and wipe away your tears, and I don't know, I think if you think you'll cry, take tissues and just try to be wary of that. I don't know, it's a difficult one to say, but for me it didn't really affect me. My mum was saying as well that she really liked having a mask because she could mime along, you know, when she forgot the words or got the words wrong or whatever, then that was fine. And I was happy that I could have a mask because I was sat there like, and nobody thought I looked crazy, so that's okay. I thought the staff were all brilliant. Everybody was very respectful, but like stern with things as well. I think they were all great, and I can imagine it was nerve-wracking for them to go back as well. So I thought everybody handled it amazingly, and everyone was so friendly and so happy. Loved it. Somebody said, did it have the same vibe or was it more toned down? I would say it was probably one of the most kind of electric audiences I've ever been part of. I know that it's like it was a smaller capacity, but to be honest, the audience were so excited and the cast were excited, and it felt like a really special performance to be at, and I didn't feel like it hindered the vibe or the atmosphere at all. If anything, I kind of felt like it was a little bit more intimate, which I really liked. I like a smaller venue and I like a smaller audience, and that's how it felt to me, which was really special. So for me, it didn't at all. Like, it was, oh god, it was incredible at the end. Like the bows and one day more, and when people would applaud and clap. I don't think I've ever seen West End audiences that like excited, and West End audiences tend to be, maybe for shows like Heathers, Six, people are pretty loud and excitable and stuff, but for Les Mis, I find that the majority are pretty much like just clappers, whereas we had clappers and whoopers, which is like woo woo. And it was just, it was just amazing. They'd finish a song and the clapping would just go on for so long. Like at the end of the show, me and my mum were like, my hands hurt from clapping so much. It was wonderful. I wish I could have clapped even more. Oh, this is a good question. What was a thing you didn't know you missed about theatre until you were back at the theatre? Ooh, that's such a good question. Oh, do you know what? I love when you're all sat in your seats and it's like, okay, let's get started now. And you see the orchestra come in and take their seats and you're like, oh, it's about to happen. Because in the concert version, the orchestra are up at the back, so you can see them throughout the show, and that was a really special thing as well. And some of the performers were quite lubricated in their enunciations, and I was thinking it's good that the orchestra are up at the back, because if they were in the pit at the front, I really feel like that wouldn't have been so COVID safe. That was good at least. Somebody said, did the actors do anything different during the performance? Obviously, it was the concert version. There was actually a few like tiny mistakes and things in the show, but to be honest, I love live theatre. I love when things go a little bit wrong, and I love seeing actors like think on their feet and help each other out, and I think it adds a little bit of excitement. So there were a couple of things that you could tell hadn't gone exactly right, but I think they handled it all perfectly, and considering these people haven't been performing for so long, it was amazing to see. And so there were like little things, but I was like okay with it, and I have to say they were like my favourite parts of the show, weirdly enough. Oh, I have to talk about Bradley Jaden as Javert. Such a different performance of Javert I've ever seen. Javert's side, I think it's vocally beautiful, but Bradley's acting, I've seen Les Mis quite a few times. His performance was the first time I have ever felt like a Javert actually wanted to kill himself and actually was at the point of committing suicide. Usually it's like, I'm gonna sing this really nice song, here I go, I'm going to fall into the river. Bradley Jaden, I was sat there and I was like, Are you okay, hun? So I just had to say that. But honestly, I could go on all day about the cast, and this isn't a review, so I don't want to just say everyone was amazing, but his Gervais side was a real, like, I don't know, I've never seen it performed that way before. I thought it was incredible. Yeah, Sunny's saying, how is the squeeze past get into your seats navigated? As I say, the gap was wide enough for me to walk past my mum, and there wasn't a squeeze at all. I just walked past her. Maybe it would be different for people with, like, if my mum had longer legs, because she's quite short, but if she had longer legs, maybe there would have been a little bit of a squeeze, but not really at all. I mean, as I say, I could put my arm fully out and I couldn't touch the seat in front, so that was fine. How does the bathroom situation work? So I did go to the bathroom. I went before the show and I didn't go in the interval. So intervals are usually the busier. To be honest, in the toilets that I went to, there was 2 cubicles and a child's cubicle, so like a smaller one. I don't know how many others there are. That was just the one that I used, and it was just off the stalls. They were very clean. When you were washing your hands, there was like a Perspex board between you and the next person. Plenty of hand gel and things. I don't know the queuing situation because when I went there was nobody there. For me personally, I would probably try to go before the show if you're able to. So I'm not sure about that during the interval, but maybe worth thinking about and like pre-planning if you are able to. Or maybe wear a nappy. Why not? Did you still have an enjoyable experience? I had the best experience. I felt completely back at home. I felt like the last year and a half was completely forgotten for like 3 hours. I was just able to just sit there and enjoy myself, and I had an incredible time. So if you're not sure if you're going to enjoy it as much, I'm sure you will. I'm so sure you will. Lots of people asking if it's scary, and to be honest, as I say, in the morning I was very nervous. As the day went on, I relaxed, and during the show I was completely chilled. I was just so happy to be there. Oh, it was brilliant. I can't wait to go again. I'm so excited to see something. I'm seeing Come From Away in August, but I'm sure I will see something in the meantime. Let me know what you're seeing if you've got anything booked. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. If you've got any other questions, leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And I hope you're all doing okay, looking after yourselves, and I will see you soon. Love you lots. Bye. Is up with that.